So, hello everyone. I'm back. So I'll put on some music so I can have a listen. Just so it's not completely empty in my ears. Hey, the Mitkov. Yeah, I use OBS. Hey, Tormod. Okay. Have a nice day. I do use OBS. Yeah, I want to like start adding some on-screen notifications and stuff, like all the other stream people have. Um, I think it'll be just more fun for you guys, and I don't know. I don't know. I'm gonna try to update it for the next year. Thanks, Mikhail. So I'll show you the original sketch, the original warm-up. The original warm-up was this little guy. I think I did it around 60 warm-ups ago, so 2 months ago. No more actually, 3 months ago. So I like the guy, so I took him and kind of started working on it a little bit more. I want to make like illustration for it. So I'll be I think I'll be starting to like I want to sketch a little bit more here, like trying to make it as strong as possible before painting, and then I'll start the coloring process. But yeah, so like I said, this is just like an extra stream. I'll be, uh, just as per usual, my extra streams, just hanging out, not feeling rushed, but just having some nice relaxed painting time, right? But but today, it's not going to be with. Usually, my extra ones are like Friday nights when I'm drinking wine or whatever. So obviously, this night today is not going to be any alcohol involved. But yeah. The little things that he's carrying, yeah, it's like I don't know what they are. Um, so I have one little guy up there on the rock, but there's going to be a rock. So I just saw that I've kind of split the shapes. They're repeating too much there, so I have to simplify it a little bit. I think I'll. There's a guy here who's sleeping, or maybe he's just looking. I don't know. Schmaze. Ah, yeah. No booze? Pfft, go away. Narrator, I don't do any reviews of people's portfolios because on my stream, the 30-minute warm-up stream, is I just stream for 30 minutes a day and then switch the stream off. And there's no time to do any of that. But my goal is at 1,000 followers, do like a couple of hours of portfolio review and paint overs while while drinking whiskey, a drunk stream. But yeah, but the goal is to give back, right? Just a long, really long stream of portfolio reviews. But I never do any of the other ways because there's no time for it. And it's an interesting also aspect of it is that it's like an assumed thing that you have to do on a stream. Like you have to give portfolio reviews or feedback. It's an interesting assumption. Mitkov, yeah, I used some other thing before, like Demon or Fire Devil or something stupid like that. Let's see if I can find it. Overwolf. that was his, yeah, Overwolf. That wasn't good either. It wasn't like didn't slow the system down, but there was just no option for customization. It was just, I think it was mostly just for gaming, like plug and play type broadcaster. So these things, I want them to be like full of spores so that they give off like a happy trail. So when he's walking, there's like, I don't know, a path. No. I should actually undo that and redo it on a separate layer. So I have control later. Okay, and lock it. Ooh, let's have a look, Kuro. Hey, that's pretty cool. Nice. Is it Photoshop? That's pretty good. It's really cool. By the way, I don't know if you know, but I could see on your brush that you had um, like paths like that in your sketches. If you want to remove it, lower the spacing, then you'll get a lot smoother. And if you switch that off, it'll just go crazy. But you can like lower it so you can get like super smooth transitions. So you don't get those tok 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 things like on the left wing. And then to save it, you just click that, and that is you create a new brush with the exact settings that you have set. So it will pop down at the last free spot. But maybe you know that. I don't know. The wisest advice for beginners. Oh man. Um, I think golden tires, it's a very open question that's going to be a very generic answer for. Um, I mean, there's a lot of possible routes to answer that question. You know, who's the artist? What do they want to do? You know, it's not just a one easy answer, because it's just not one job, right? It's many different kinds of jobs. Um, hey, John Silva, thanks for hosting me. Woohoo! Um, anyway, so I think the best advice is, I think the most important is the fundamentals, right? Um, the fundamentals of creating art, right? The technical aspect, the perspective, anatomy, color, light, all these things, right? The more you know, the more you practice it, the better the general understanding of art is, and the more you can adjust it to your own path, right? But in order to exclude something in the process, you have to understand it before you can exclude it, right? Um, and all information is good information. It's like that saying is I'm forgetting the words, but it's like the ability to um, like ignore something. Like you have to understand it before you ignore it. I don't know. I'm completely butchering it, obviously. Um, that's where like the biggest flaw of ignorance is, when you're just not wanting to listen without understanding. And if you understand it but you choose not to, it's completely different than just ignoring it, right? So fundamentals is really really important, um, and practice it. And what's very apparent, like getting better at art, is that over the course of the journey of doing art, you will notice that you're always going back to the fundamentals, to brushing up on the fundamentals, because it's like you learn all these things, right? And then you pushing forward, and then you by chance or whatever, you have to go back and explain some fundamentals, or just you want to feel like you want to brush up on the information, and then all that baggage you have gathered, um, pushing forward, and you're rereading or re-educating yourself on the fundamentals, you go in at a completely different starting point and see a lot of different things from the fundamentals that you haven't seen because you didn't have that additional knowledge the first time. So you just keep on going back and forth to fundamentals and pushing forward, fundamentals and pushing forward all the time, which shows just the importance of uh, practicing the fundamentals of like image creating. Hey, John Silva, thank you. Good morning. Nice to have you here. Hey, Rudely Poodly Doodly. What the? That is the strangest nickname ever. Rudely Poodly Doodly. That is hilarious. Yeah, so that would probably be the best answer to a very broad question. But then there's a lot of additional segments to that you could be more specific if the question was more specific in terms of who's asking it, or what do their art look like, or what's their end goal. Then you can adjust that answer significantly. Um, but fundamentals is probably the best. Also, art takes time to learn, because you always have to build it from the base up. Whoa, and not like shortcuts you can play with, but they're never like my philosophy, like why I don't want to use 3D for poses and things like that, is that I want to practice making the pose. I can easily load up a 3D program like Poser or DAZ 3D or whatever it's called, and make a really interesting pose in 3D. But that for me is not interesting. You know, it saves time, but I rather go for the process of learning to do that by hand or by instinct, by studying and anatomy and studying dynamic posing, so that I don't need a 3D program. Because taking that shortcut, like I can do that if I have to save time. But now, because I've not wanted to do that, doing a pose doesn't take that long. You know, I'm not saying like I'm some sort of anatomy master, far from it, but I don't struggle creating a pose and anatomy because I haven't relied on shortcuts. And I always try to minimize the shortcuts I'm using by learning the fundamentals. But like one of favorite thing I use is posterize, set the color so that I can get a good palette. You know, I know how to do that by hand. I have done it millions of times practicing and studying and choosing all those colors by hand. And I still do it, but not each field of color, like, you know, like posterize on color gives you. I'll just showcase it so you see. Like posterize, right? It puts everything in bands. But set to color, you only adjust the color bands, right? Instead of value as well. So in that way, you can get nice little subtle changes in the colors. But that for example is a shortcut I do enjoy taking, because I set up the relationship between warm and cold regardless, and it just saves me time, so I don't need to do it. But I don't completely automatize it. Automatize it? I still set it up, you know, cold, warm, base. I just enhance it with that shortcut. Ramble. Yeah, I used to do warm up like 10-second poses. Let me try to find that actually. I found it the other day. Not online, but where was it? It was here, I think. No. Here. Maybe. No. It was in here, I think. Yes. Let's find it. So I used to do 30-second poses for 1 hour every day. So I just filled pages and pages and pages of poses like that. I don't think I've saved them all, but I had so many of them. Just poses and poses and poses, different angles, and for the longest time I just sat and did those. I mean, it's useful. You learn a lot. That's like what's the importance of studying the fundamentals. You know? And you could see the difference, like in quality over the days of or months of doing it. Michal, there was a website called something, the most useful comment ever. There was a website called something, and you could set, it was like 3D posed models, but somewhat accurate anatomy. Obviously the stretching, the muscles weren't stretching accurately, but I wasn't looking for that. I was looking for the poses, just so I could draw something, and you could set up the duration of each picture, and when it changed, so I just set them to like at the beginning 30 seconds, then 10 seconds, and just kept it rolling for an hour and just sat and sketched new layer when the pose changed to sketch new layer when the pose changed. Um, yeah, it was really good. And I also found these were done a long time ago. 2008. I spent 30 minutes doing a mudbox sculpture, then 30 minutes painting in Photoshop on top, and topic of practicing, right? So I did a lot of those as well. It was a really good fun to play with, to see like where can you bridge from model to paint, and only spending like 30 minutes creating something in each program. Was a really good fun, good challenge. Uh, so this was quite some years ago, 8 years ago. Wow, time flies. This was when I was working at Sega. Uh, it's good fun. Golden Tigers. That's cool. There's a lot of different sketchbooks. Yeah, I used to when I was a young man. Um, I used to have an anatomy sketchbook where I did a lot of studies of poses and bodies and rendering, and part of the trick was to go to a bar, put it at the like in the middle of the table, and like a long table, whatever, and there would always be someone looking, and it always ended up with a free anatomy drawing session. In that sense, if you know what I'm saying. uh, yeah, but it was good fun. People always, or women always, when they see like a beautiful drawing, they want to be drawn like what's it called? Uh, like one of your French women, or what's that meme? I don't remember, but it's something like that. Hey, Sensen, good morning. But you'll be surprised how easy it works uh, to get a free model by just going to a bar with your anatomy sketchbook and some good repertoire. Draw me like one of your French girls. Yeah, there we go. Golden tigers. Yeah, just draw men's genitalia page by page. But the thing is, like, men don't really care about that. They don't want to be drawn like one of your French girls or French guys. Men are different beasts, way more. Binary. Yeah. Like stick figures and all wonky looking things. That would be so funny. They're like, ooh, ew, no. Or like what I used to do a lot at life drawing. I used to draw the model, but then from like the face used to, or the head I used to make into a monster, so that always became like some weird demons with like horns or like some freaky looking creature. And always the models used to kind of wander around the auditorium, whatever the room when there was a break, and they always go and glance at what you've drawn. And I always had have gotten some really funny comments about my drawings from the models, like, "Ugh, what's happening?" Like, what's that? Like, or some no comments at all. They're like, "Ooh, I should stay away from this person." Oh, it's hilarious. I really had fun with doing each model into a monster. Like one of your stick figures. Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah, well, it's funny. You have to make things interesting, I think. Another fun thing I did with life drawing was like the model was standing there, but you removed weight from her or him, or added weight. Like make it really thin, and you had to try to remove weight from them and think about, like, okay, where's her joints or his joints? Where's the connective tissue? What would they look like if I would remove weight from them? So they got really starved looking and things like that. That was a really interesting exercise, actually, like scaling weight up and down. Um, and that was also some weird looks from the models when I was doing that. They're like, ugh, like what? What? But it was really useful, like trying to reverse engineer the body. Hey, Marius. Good morning. How's it going? Welcome to my extra stream. I should actually write that. That's good, Marius, but you're very welcome. Very glad to have you here. A familiar name. I'm fine. I'm first day of vacation I don't need to work anymore until beginning of January. Yeah, I'm I'm ready. Kids are ready. Looking forward to eat some tasty food. It's gonna be good. How are you ready for Christmas? It's gonna be nice, nice and relaxing. Usually every year I take out a lot of vacation around Christmas, so I can just kind of chill out, hang around, not having to do work. I find it very important for my sanity. It's it's a tradition of mine to take out majority of my vacation at December. But this year, all the bank days, like the free vacation days, they all lined up in a negative way where it's just on weekends, so you're not getting additional extra days. But usually, what I manage to do is more or less take all of December off, plus beginning of January, so I can just kind of lounge around for a good month and get paid for it. You know, that's the that's my usual tactics every year. Um, so at summers, I tend not to take a lot of vacation. I tend to try to do as much as possible after work and on weekends and things. Enjoy the summer. Luckily, my wife usually are able to do some more stuff with the kids, but yeah. But the older my kids get, also they will able to have fun on their own. That's cool, Golden Tigers. That's nice. Marius Bota, yeah. Paperwork. Svensson Art. That's stupid timing. They should have not done that. Just gonna pay you. They're gonna pay for it the whole next year. That's horrible, Svensson. Any rate, I think I'd say my traditional food. Sorry, my wife's writing. Um, in Sweden, they have Christmas ham, like ham with mustard in the oven, and lots of fish and meat products. Uh, so usually it's like potato salad, specific potato salads, different kinds, meat dishes, some fish. Um, we usually do have like a long table full of all sorts of different. So you get everything from every food group, and eat for a long time, like good couple of hours of just sitting and talking and drinking and eating, while kids running around doing shit, and you know, it's very relaxed in that sense. There's no religious aspects involved at all in my celebration. So it just tends to be wine and drinks and talk and food all all Christmas, which is nice. And then in order to get your gifts, you have to perform somehow, like read a poem or sing a song or do something interesting in front of everyone. Hey, Splaytooth. Good morning. Välkommen. Beetroot soup, that's nice. Cold, I guess. That's good, Svensson, though, that you got the economy sorted. That mother's bottle, yeah, we usually have salmon as well, like in the oven. Vincent. No, no. I will. I will most likely just sing a Swedish Christmas song. It's a song um, of Gingerbread Man, the classic Swedish classic. I just my wife's just gonna give me a big package, so I just need to perform once. So I'll just sing that kind of kids Christmas song. Be done with it. Or I can read it as a poem and be all serious, but it's actually just a kid's song. Who knows? Who knows? Maybe it doesn't matter. Hey, Splaytooth, how many games I've made or worked on? I have made one game for myself. I've worked on many. Too many, almost, to count. Captain Jetlag. Yeah, nice sexual innuendo there. Ooh, pierogies. Yeah, man, those are super tasty. Those are good. But alas, I'm gluten allergic, so no pierogies for me. Yeah, like I said, this stream is gonna be way laid back. Um, I wonder if let's see. Let's see here. This isn't the full one, but here was the one from my presentation I did at IFCC, and you'll see some of the stuff I worked on. But I obviously couldn't fit everything and keep it visible. Yeah, 3 months is doable if it's a small scale game. No problems at all with that. Completely doable. Yeah, a little Mario side scroller jumping game is definitely doable in 3 months. But don't be fooled, it's going to require a lot of work, a lot of hours for even a small game to be done in 3 months. Don't think it'll be easy. just because it's small, simple game. Simple games take long to make good. So prepare for a grind, regardless. Thanks, Kikianha. 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 And a lot of games also that I can't show, obviously. Let's say the last 2 years of work, most of them are still secret and not on that page, unfortunately. So as per usual in the industry, you know, there's a lot of things in the shadows, but that was a selection of more known things I worked on. But obviously there's a lot more that is non-recognizable for the common person in that sense. Like just saying, oh, Call of Duty, everyone knows Call of Duty, right? So that's an easy thing to mention. Like, oh, I worked on Call of Duty. But saying some obscure little game is like, what's that? But yeah, I worked for 10 years in the industry, so I worked on a few games. Splaytooth. That's a tall order then if you've never done one. Doesn't mean it's impossible, but you're definitely gonna have a learning curve there. So prepare for that, and expect the project to be more than 3 months. I wouldn't be surprised if it's gonna take you 6 months at least, if you've never done it before. A lot of troubleshooting, a lot of trying to figure things out. Most definitely. Oh, that's cool, Captain Jetlag. Good on you. Oh no, my headphones battery is running out. Well, I'll run them out and then I can't listen to the music. Marius Bot, I will be teaching at IFCC. That's all that's planned for the moment. But I'm hoping that I'll be invited to industry workshops in London. I couldn't go last year, unfortunately, but I'm hoping this year or next year. How about you? Hey, hobo sheep. Battery's dying. Boo. Cynics. Oh, that was ages ago. I talked to him. We used to draw together back in the days on these program called Open Canvas and a website called Paint Chat. A lot of artists used to hang out there. Like it was more like Twitch, but everyone could paint on the same canvas, so you could do fun stuff together. Um, yeah, he's a really cool guy. I think he's a guy. I never asked if he's a boy or a girl, but I'm assuming he's a guy. You know, he draws very guyish things. Sorry for that. Marius Botta, if I would be invited as a lecturer, I would definitely go. I tend to go to only to workshops if I'm invited as a lecturer, because I can't justify it for the family by just going for me. You know, it feels a little bit weird. But if it's like workshop teaching, you know, it's career aspect, you know, so I can justify it for myself to take a small vacation from my family, you know. Otherwise, it just feels too egoistic in that sense. I can't justify it. But if I'm invited, yeah, definitely. I'd love to go. Um, my top three artists. It's hard to say. I'd say one of them, of the top three, is definitely Marko Djurdjevic. He has great sense of character, pose, and all these things. He's definitely an artist of my liking, and I think I wouldn't say I do similar things, but the process and the thought process and the way he sketches and how he thinks, like on a personal level, I'd say we're very similar. I mean, I've met him many times and talked to him many times. Uh, I would say to some extent we're somewhat friends, or at least know each other in that sense. Um, he's a cool guy, great artist who loves production art and design, which I'm a big fan of myself. Um, then there's this like huge range from top four to top 10, which is inhabited by a lot of artists rather than just seven. Uh, Craig Mullins is probably a top three because anything he does is just so solid. It just hits all the right, uh, picture wise, hits all the right things, and you just can't deny the awesomeness of his drawings. They're just that good, just so impressive that you just it's impossible not to be impressed by them. Um, it's hard. I can't pick. There's so many really good ones that you just go, holy shit, you know. I don't know. That's like I can say two. Those would be the ones that came to my mind uh, primarily. Greg Manches is definitely good. He's a top 10 guy. six skills, undeniable skill set, you know. But I wouldn't place him above, for me, at above Craig Mullins or Marco in that sense. They're Marco and Craig Mullins are on separate spectrums of art, you know, but they both of them bring something interesting to the table, um, which is not unique for them, but the level of what they do is just so high that it's hard to deny uh, like a top three position for those two. Um, that doesn't mean that all the others are bad. It's just that for me, they're in a good place in their art. That's not what I wanted to do. I think Craig Mullins' website is goodbrush.com, and Marco, I don't think anyone knows how to spell his surname, but it's Djurdjevic. Good luck with that. But I'm assuming Googling Marco with a K and Marvel should give you a chance to find Marco Djurdjevic, guy with a super tricky surname. Or his company is called Six More Vodka. Probably easier to find. He runs a outsourcing studio where he's the leader. Is his own company. Yeah, Six More Vodka. So I want this little guy painting to have like a cape that's he pulls through the forest, like as he's a part of the nature. Nature is a part of him. I want to show like there should be a layer of dirt, and I wanted to have like a stitching of sort uh, in the cape, like it's like he's grown out of the lawn, and the lawn is coming with him, but he's kind of tailored a cape out of it, or maybe it's not called a cape, it's maybe a drape, right? Or no, what's it called? It's called a drape, isn't it? Like what the wedding dress had behind them. It's a drape, isn't it? Tail? No, has to be drape. Hmm. Something like drape. Craig Mullins, yeah, he's crazy. He's crazy good. Love his stuff. Gown. But gown is the whole thing, right? The trail? Is it? Oh, maybe it's called trail. No. But didn't I say trail already? I don't remember. Hey, Lurib! Fantastic. You missed the morning warm-up, but you're able to join my extra stream. Greetings. Yeah, so the idea with this guy is like he's a nature warden of some sort. He likes to walk around. So my goal is uh, to do an illustration of this, to practice my illustration making. Also to update the portfolio with some personal art. I have probably just this week of my movie project, like final touch-ups on the artwork for that, and then most likely my part will be done for the movie, and hopefully Hollywood buys it. Veil, but veil for me is the thing for the face, not the thing that hangs. But maybe the veil is usually very long. I don't remember. All right, UV mapping. Oh, such an exciting topic. No, it's quite fun. It's like a puzzle in reverse. I enjoy UV mapping. I don't mind it at all. So story for this guy or this extra stream is that I don't need to work, and I got some time to kill before I have to do other things. So I'll be streaming some. I think I will be streaming some every day this week. I will definitely do my warm-ups all week. And ideally extra streams now that I don't need to perform work-wise. Hey, Dennis! Welcome, Mr. Unbreakable. Or Mr. Glass, what was his name? Mr. Glass, right? Guy that always breaks bones. A little bit, or maybe it's too early to joke about that, Dennis. Passenger. For those who don't know, Passenger was in an accident, in a car crash, and broke some bones. So maybe it was a poor joke. I apologize if that's the case. Thanks thanks Splaytooth. Thanks for following. Have a good day. And every morning I stream at the same time, the warm-up that I was earlier. So feel free to join. The information is underneath the stream. Nereda, I do not have Instagram, no. But my plan is to have one for next year. So starting January, I'm hoping to have one. Dennis, this is a extra warm-up. I don't need to work this week, so I'm gonna be lounging about, probably do extra streams and work on the intro, outro for 30-minute warm-up for next year. So, Hobo Sheep. At the moment, before I want to start adding colors, I just want to control the values a little bit more. You know, set the light up a little bit so I have a better understanding of where to push color. I have found that the more you work through the little details, the easier the coloring process will be. Because at the moment now, I can just focus on form. And when I add the colors, I can focus on the colors and adjust the colors as I need them to be, rather than do all at once, where I don't know the design and placement of all the objects in the scene. And if I have to do that at the same time as colors, I find it muddying the end result a little bit too much. So as I'm not doing studies, as I'm doing an illustration, you should really do thumbnails and all these things, which I'm not doing at the moment. I'm just working straight towards the final, and somehow to kind of future-proof the illustration without major changes. I'm working grayscale first, so I can kind of uh, gauge what needs to be done. So I will go to color. Definitely go to color. I just need to work on the grayscale a little bit more. My plan is to go to color today on this stream. So I think I've spent maybe an hour soon. And I want to spend an hour, 1 hour of coloring. Somewhat like that. I'm aiming towards like a 2-hour stream. I won't have too much time today to stream, but a good 2 hours for sure. Thank you very much, Golden Tigers. The idea is that I'll work on the values, I'll tighten them as I'm coloring a little bit more. So I don't want to go super tight with everything. I find that my process, when I'm tightening the painting, I'm fixing a lot of little mistakes in values and so on as I'm painting with colors. I just want to, for now, kind of nail the bigger things, and later I can adjust as I'm painting. I just need that overall big picture to read well. That is, oh no, the whiskey stream is getting close. Kuru, I haven't seen any of Anthony Jones' videos. He seems to know what he's talking about, so that's pretty cool. Yeah, it's a good point there, Bard. But as you can see, there's not really contrast per se. It's just more volume, general volume. I haven't done anything that is brighter or darker. I do those kind of things as I'm painting when I make those decisions. Um, so that's why it's like a homogeneous, just light treatment. Yeah, Kuro and Dennis, definitely. All I want to do now is just the relationship between everything. And then when I'm making more complicated colors, I'm gonna push and pull a lot of things that you can't really do with grayscale. Because if I start doing that now, like pushing and pulling values, in the sense of how colors will act on top, I won't have the control of saturation and mood and connection, kind of complexity with the colors and brushwork. And so I'm just preparing the base, you know. Um, and a lot of extra things and tweaks will come as the picture evolves. I know that. I know my process, so that I know that my mind will want to do certain steps on top of this. So I'm obviously like deliberately staying away from doing those moves now. Like I paint a lot like video, in the sense, you know, like I set up the general relationship between everything, and do a lot of post processing on top of my painting, um, to get it as I wanted, so that like I set up the relationship between, let's say, cold and warm, and as I'm painting and as I reach a certain degree of finish, I start doing post processing where I can adjust the cold and warm relationship, because it's already been established. And if I didn't establish that, maybe the painting might look very uninteresting. But I know like my steps that I will take towards the end of the painting will tie everything together a lot stronger. So I know these kind of steps that I prefer to do, which doesn't need to be done now, you know. I have a general idea of what I'm gonna do, but that that will change as I'm putting down the colors and what preferences I have today, you know, what it should look like. Um, Dear Bard, yeah, you know, everyone has different processes, and I've painted enough that I enjoy my process. Um, and that's what I do with my warm-ups is I challenge the process. I experiment with the approach and sketch, you know, like how do I take it from here to color, or from line art to paint, or all these things, right? So that's the reason for my warm-ups I do every day, is to just challenge the process, or challenge the mindset, you know, like what can I get out of it? Um, and I think I learn a lot by it. But you also learn, you can only learn by pushing something as well further, you know, like sketching is fine, but you also have to practice finishing an illustration. Um, Adding colors, you can use color gradient, definitely. It depends completely on the purpose, but gradient maps is really interesting. I think I'll do it for this one, uh, in iterations. Like I want to do one overlying gradient map that controls dark to light. Then I also want to make local gradient maps for elements of the painting, so that you can have, you know, like just select the face or whatever, and you get a, you know, so you get the overlying gradient map that controls all values, but not overruling under the stuff underneath, so that when you do change something, it's like in relationship with each other. Um, if that makes sense. I don't know. Ramble. A lot of stupid words. Ah, thanks, Marius. Yeah, I enjoy painting my silly creatures. I find them more, uh, they're more fun to create. Like I instantly think, like, who is this little guy? Like, why does he look this way? And it's a little bit harder to do when you have to be all serious and cool. Like, oh, look at his angry rifle. It's a little bit, it is what it is, you know. But yeah, I definitely love my more stylized creatures too. I enjoy them a lot more. I want to try to add some extra extra motion. I think that this one, this and that. Uh, let's add something to make you look that way. Okay. Oh, okay, Shmaze. Thanks for coming. Have a good day and see you tomorrow. Yeah, Golden Tigers is tricky. It's tricky. It's a lot of things to do at once when you're drawing, and that's why like going back to the kind of thing about fundamentals, it's so important to go back to it and revisit it and 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 learn, relearn, and learn and learn and learn, and like layer an onion inside out from the inside out, and that onion just kind of keeps on growing the more you go back and build, you know. All the you know, like seasoned artists, they all say the same about fundamentals. Like you always learn something new when you go back to it, especially if you start teaching, and then you have to think, okay, how am I actually doing things? How can I explain it in the most under way that's easiest to understand, you know? And you can't just go on feeling. You have to break down your own process, and in return, you teach yourself about, hey, I'm actually doing it this way. I had no idea. Which is an interesting aspect of teaching. Blue rib. Huh, that's cool. Good job. I'll be right back. Uh, just a minute. All right. Kikian ha. Yeah, I got a YouTube archive of all my previous streams underneath the stream. Golden Tigers. Yeah, it's definitely, you can't explain something if you don't understand it. That is a very true statement, and I wholeheartedly agree. This guy should have like berries and stuff in his lawn. And I want to have the bird to like, they're just having fun on him as he's pulling rocks and things. So I need to show that he's actually moving and dragging. How to do that? I can only have option to do it over here. Show like scraping. Ah, all right. Yeah, a lot of like value control is gonna change as I'm starting to paint. But I'm kind of getting ready to start adding colors. I'm thinking. Yeah, colors it is. Lurib, yeah, it's tricky, this stroke economy. Tricky business. Golden Tigers, yeah. Oh, I remember I had that problem. Yeah, that's an interesting aspect. Yeah, but I don't have that anymore, so somehow you solved it, right? Yeah, it's very interesting. When you have to teach someone a process, it's even more tricky. You know, how do you begin? Now, I want to add something more to help the eye go through the painting. So I think I will have to add some flying banner roll, or whatever it's called in English. Turpentine, is that what it's called? That goes through. Don't mimic that. Don't go kill the bird. Okay, there we go. I think that shape is nice. That should be on a separate layer. Everything else I can merge. Ooh. Wait a second. I want to keep the stuff before I added light. Here's the stuff before I added light. Okay. Merge. Merge. There we go. Merge. Oh yeah. Original sketch from warmup. That's pretty good. Lurib, probably 1 more hour, but I will most likely stream tomorrow an extra one as well, but probably all week, an hour or two after the warm up. Dennis, no, you're not delusional. You can get away a lot with suggestive shapes, or use it depending on your style, obviously, but you can also get away a lot with using photos or 3D assets, or just study anatomy. Either way. I'm thinking I might need to add one more. To help. Something like that, perhaps. No, it mirrors the head shape. Hello, cat. Yes. Okay, that's better. Yeah, Dennis, don't no need to do that if majority is environment, but you know, like any shortcut when it comes to get good enough results is worth taking, and then you can tackle that beast later. Yeah, gestures is the most important. Not any like major details or like specific details needs to be there. It's just general gesture that you understand it. Because the mind works in seeing symbols. So if you're convincing enough symbol of a man or a person, human, you don't need to define it further. Yeah, exactly. That's a valid point, Svensson, is that whatever you want to do, like to suggest, you do need to understand it to some degree, and gestures goes a long way. Um, and implied details. But but if you're gonna have character heavy scenes, then you know you're shooting yourself in the foot a bit, um, or you need to find a solution to it, how to get it working in your advantage by having character heavy scenes in your environments. Like Craig Mullins does an interesting job, but I mean his knowledge is superb when it comes to anatomy, but he's not without flaw. Definitely not. I mean, if you're analyzing anatomy, looking at he does a lot of mistakes, but that's irrelevant when the big picture is consistent. Golden tigers. That's a pretty cool thing to know. That little tidbit I'm gonna steal. Thanks for that. That's some good information right there. So Foreman edges and values, and then color. It's pretty cool. It's good to keep that hierarchy in mind. Thanks. Okay, I think that's a good kind of read through the painting now. Swoosh. I'm thinking this is not as good as it could be though. More like that. It's too equal. Doesn't have a natural rhythm there. Need to make it more interesting to look at. That's better. It's when the parallel lines becomes boring. That's cool. It's pretty good, Golden Tires. Definitely. It's the same way like human eyes sees a lot of different shades of green. That's what we see best when it comes to hues. Colors of green is like really, um, our eyes are really keen on finding that difference when it comes to greens. I guess we were hunting in the forest a lot while we were living on Mars for the green Martians, right? Isn't Martians are green, aren't they? Hiding in bushes. Those pesky Martians. We have had to evolution have had to train our eyes to spot the Martian in the bush. Those damn Martians! I knew it. Can't trust them. Dennis, what? That is some harsh comments right there. That's pretty cool, Golden Tires. Yeah, I also read that humans have their own pattern on the body. That we have a UV pattern, uh, like especially on the torso. I don't remember which documentary it was, but they were talking about the UV pattern on humans. Or maybe I was dreaming it. I have no idea. Or my alien Martian friends told me about it. Sometimes my mind is just mush when I try to come up with information. I know I listened about it, like, um, uh, but I know that there was UV patterns on human bodies, like almost like tiger stripes across the chest, as far as I remember. All right. Okay. Let's try some colors. Gradient map. I want a sunny, happy day. Let's start with warm, and should be like cold blue. Saturated because of its insane amount of bounce line. That's a really cool little thing I figured out the other day. You click the arrow, whichever arrow you want, and then if you click again, you have sampled that uh, gradient value, and you can click it, like plop it down again. So like if I want to put that in the gradient there, I click that arrow, and then on the gradient, then you'll slap it down. Let's see. Let's try to get that in there. Cool, yeah. The thing is, I read that I have a memory of it. I'm a little bit unsure about my mind at the moment, if it's an actual thing I saw or if I conjured it up in my head. Uh, but I'm quite sure that is the case. So be warned. I'm a bit unsure. It has to break a bit more. Okay. I'd say that's a pretty good start when it comes to color. Probably a bit too heavy, went too dark. Let's see, I need to push that color away from the mid-range. So I need to push this down. Actually, no. More. No. Couldn't undo it. I think it's a good base. Now that's something I want to Google. Human UV pattern. Oh yeah. There we go. Here's a censored upper torso. But you see, there is UV pattern. Hey, Diego. Good morning. Welcome. Welcome to my extra stream. But yeah, it's crazy. Humans have a UV pattern. Pretty cool stuff. Okay, so I wanted that to be kind of general treatment. Now I want to kind of start figuring out the colors of everything. And in my mind, I wanted to put focus on the face with contrast. So I want the face to be the thing that stands out, right? And the rest be very much within the environment he walks around in. So in order for that to be, let's put focus on his fingers as well. So in order for that to work, I'm going to have warm browns and greens for most of the painting, except his face and fingers and those owls or birds or whatever they are. And I know like these ball things in his horns, I want to be points of saturation, but not contrasting color. That as much as I know, right? So I know I want blue for the, or contrast for the face. And then I think I'll put yellow-ish bandaging to directly contrast the blue. And then I think the horns will be brown or gray. That was my plan, the kind of general plan. Now I'm most likely will tweak the colors, but as a starting point, I think I'm gonna push for this at the moment. So the general idea, what I'm gonna want to experiment with is, so I have local color like that, right? Then I'm gonna have that the gradient on top afterwards, like that, to harmonize, and then I will like push and pull with post process on top. The hypoxia experience. Oh, dude, that's a dark nickname. I think it's a setting, like a tick box you can tick, like to highlight cursor or something. I always do that on streams. I did that on livestream.com as well, because I think it's easier to see where I am at than kind of searching the image to try to find the cursor. But obviously with a bigger cursor, you don't see the kind of fine things I'm doing, but I don't think that matters. That's my reasoning behind having a large cursor. It's not in Photoshop. It's the broadcasting program. So for me, Photoshop, everything is normal. But I mean, if you mean that you see a big circle for the brush, uh, you can change that with tab. You can get a crosshair by pressing tab, or the actual brush by tabbing again. So there is ways to get it bigger in Photoshop by pressing tab, or actually caps lock. Sorry, not tab, caps lock. Uh, but then it's just kind of option between cursor or crosshair or actual brush. But in OBS you have also option of having a highlighted cursor. Hello Akrama56, welcome to my extra stream. Usually I only stream for 30 minutes per day for my warm-up whole thing, but today I'm on vacation, so I can stream extra. I think this whole week I will stream some extra stuff. Extra sessions when I have time. I have my personal projects to wrap this week, so I will most likely stream for a few hours on personal painting, aka this one, and then do offline like finishing illustrations for my movie. Hopefully at the end of the week, day before Christmas, everything will be sorted and ready for the millions to be pouring in. You have to aim high. Okay. Autistium. Yes, I do use a Cintiq. I use a 21-inch HD, 21 HD. Or is it 24 HD? 21 HD? Yeah, I don't remember. The big one. Yeah, golden tigers. It's really cool. And imagine how animals see us. You know, like we just see our face like, oh, like the way it is, but they see us like with patterns and stuff. Like it's crazy. That's fantastic, Lurid. Yeah, exactly. Oh, the hypoxia. Yeah, yeah. I've been streaming. For what was the episode today? 166 episodes of my warm up. So every working day at 10 past 9 a.m. I stream for 30 minutes. So I've been doing it for 166 days, which is a long time. Plus, I do like extra ones here and there on weekends when I have time. But most of this year, I've been very busy with my movie deal, and it just sounds like I'm saying that over and over all the time. But it's true. It's a project that's eaten a lot of my time this year. I started a game I had to pause as well, which I want to finish next year. That's my plan. Um, that's one of my goals. Start making games next year. Unit, no, this is not a 30-minute warm-up. It's an extra stream today. Um, this piece is not that high resolution, just under 6,000 times 4,000 pixels. It's not that big. Yeah, so I'll be streaming extra this week to do this guy. I like this guy. I wanna finish him. I wanna make a like full-blown illustration. Um, Ideally, so you guys can see start to finish. Ideally. Hey, Pastel Donata. Hey, Pineapple Fanatic. All these new people, it's fantastic. Welcome. Hmm. Okay. That's great, Pineapple Fanatic. Hey, Mila, go ahead. Oh, Mila, you're a star. Fantastic. Thank you. It's like you need to like get a Christmas present or something from me. Most thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, there's gonna be a drug stream at when I get 1,000 followers, which is 21 followers from now, where I do more or less 2, 3 hours, 4 hours of whiskey and portfolio reviews and paint overs uh, for you guys. So you can ask away. I won't really do anything but get drunk and talk about your art and portfolio. If that's something that sounds interesting, hit that follow button. Uh, yeah. That's gonna be nice, I think. And then I'm gonna add like temperature shifts and stuff plus on top. Um, so I think it'll be good. I think it'll be good. But I do like the contrast between the cool and gray when I switch the gradient off. So I'm thinking I have to go in and erase, put in more neutrals in there, just to kind of give vibrancy to places uh, where I want it. So it's something I have to experiment with later as the piece develops. But at the moment now, all I'm focusing on is just kind of placing groups of color so that I can adjust them on top. I know that gradient map on top is not the final step. I'm definitely aware of that, but it's just more of like getting what's needed down so I can see and develop it and, you know, push it. So that's something I'm looking forward to do as well. Get all those juicy little color shifts in there and nice little changes in light and color. Maybe he's like seeding the forest floor. My cat is doing something. Pineapple fanatic. Yeah, like I explained earlier, like I tend to focus on general brushstrokes of the values or the form, and then go over colors, and then do a lot of post processing and adjustments on top, just to because I wasn't designing it. I designed it before painting it, so that I don't need to design as I'm painting, because this is not a design that exists, right? There's nothing. It's very uncertain of where it would go and to what and how. So I'm designing it first and then painting colors on top. Um, Lurib. If I hit 1K, not gonna do it like the first night. Well, as I hit 1K, it's gonna be announced. You know, so people can send me their portfolios or whatever, or have it ready so that I can look at it on the stream and not just surprise people with it. So don't worry, Lurib. The drunk stream when I hit 1K is going to be like, I think I'm going to set up an event on Facebook or something like that, or at least announce it so people can kind of prepare. Thanks, Silicon Bleach. I think you kind of can do it traditionally, but not as easily as you can in a computer. I mean, you can wash a painting traditionally without issues. You can easily get a traditional painting the same way. But usually what you do when in your grayscale sketch, it's not grayscale, it's you know, like warm tone or burnt umber or things like that, so that you get a relationship from the get-go, because it's going to be hard to tone grayscale fully like you can do here. But color washes traditionally is not uncommon, it's very common, and definitely not impossible. Yeah, absolutely. The dark stuff is a bit trickier. Definitely. Mila, yeah, definitely. I think it would be cool, you know, all, you know, those old enough to drink, responsible enough to drink, kind of join in, and maybe, you know, I don't know the setup yet. Maybe you can have like a call in, people can call in like on my Skype, or I don't know. I don't know yet. Maybe I need a host, like someone hosting the stream while I'm just getting more and more drunk. I don't know. I think it's a recipe for disaster, but it's a recipe I'm willing to play with for you guys. drunk stream portfolio review like a boss. Silicone bleach. I think oils, most likely. You can definitely wash like this with oils. Whiskey and morphine. Oh yeah, that is. Yeah, yeah. You had a car accident. Uh, Pineapple fanatic. I'm gonna guess if you're in America, you're not allowed to drink until 21. In Europe, you're allowed to drink from 18. So maybe you're even younger than 18. Then it doesn't matter. Hi, thanks for hosting me, Pineapple fanatic. Fantastic. That is, yeah. That's what I fear gonna happen on the stream. Just me like bubbling in some corner in rum, some rum coma. Hopefully not, but I mean I have to stay somewhat clean, so or coherent, so you understand, so you get something out of the stream, not just having a drunk me. Um, but I think it'll be cool. I think it'll be fun. You know, we can. I'll do portfolio reviews. I'll answer questions. I do pin overs if you want. Uh, Whatever. I think like in general, I'm gonna like look at the clock as I'm talking and set like a time frame, um, approximate time frame, like 10, 15, 20 minutes per portfolio, depending on how many portfolios or how many people are in the stream. But I think that'll be cool. I'm obviously up for suggestions of how to change the stream if you don't like the idea. But I think it's a pretty cool setup, right? Ah, you're from America, Pineapple fanatic. Yeah, then you're screwed. Delirium, yeah. Oh, it's a drug. Golden Tigers, yeah, it's a huge problem. Shortcuts, like I talked earlier. Hey, Bin. Yeah, I'm doing an extra stream. I wanted to work up a portfolio piece. So this is what I got to today. I started the sketch earlier last night, just like an hour or half an hour. I can show. I started out with this, which was a warm up, 104, if I'm not mistaken, which is 3 months ago. I did this, uh, and I took it to here. So that's what I'm working on now. Um, Want to like make something properly this week. So you guys and girls, if you want to, you can, follow the process. And my goal is to stream all week, extra streams after the warm up. So I'll do my warm ups per usual, and then wait, I'm confusing myself here. And then I'll end the stream. And then I'll end the stream and start the extra stream. Um, so now all I'm doing is just working towards the big picture. Like I want to switch this on top later, probably adjust it, and then do some post processing. And when I'm starting to get the correct colors and light and feel for everything, I'll start kind of going into details and rendering and adjusting everything, with accents and things like that. I just want to lay down the foundation first before doing the fast stuff on top. So I'm quite aware of the process. It might look uninteresting at the beginning, but ideally at the end. Thanks, Ben. Oh, have a nice one, passenger. Take it easy. Thanks, Pastel de Nata. Yeah, Ben. My goal is to have that like him trailing nature, like seeding nature. So I want spores and colors. There's not all colors established yet, but I'm working towards it. Um, Very nice to meet you, Silicon Bleach. You're very welcome back. Uh, Happy lurking. Yeah, Golden Tigers. Gouache is tricky. Oh, that's cool, Ben. Feel free to share it in the chat if it's not nudity. Silicon Bleach. What you need to do though is don't forget to practice the whole line. You say you go back to colors and traditional. You should also um, practice doing it digitally at the same time as well. The reason is because otherwise you're alienating the two. You're going to learn the tool of traditional at the same time as you learn the theory of traditional. You should try at the same time as you're doing studies traditionally, try implementing it digitally as well. I did that when I studied because I knew majority of my work would be digital and not traditional. Um, so I practiced both. I've drawn insane amount of drawings on sketchbooks at the same time as I did insane amount of digital paintings, trying to figure it out at the same time. And for me, at least, that worked really, really well mentally. Like figuring things out. Okay, let me look. Ah, that's pretty cool. Nice one. There we go. Some sort of naked rat with a jetpack bat and a hamster with a ray gun who kidnaps elves. An elephant with a scimitar. That's some that's some advanced Christmas painting. That's a good drawing. Right. So now still have colors to do, but I feel I need to separate those owls a bit. So I want to make them shine, right? I want to have them like these pure, almost pure light entities. So I want to pick them out already. And they should inherit the face colors, right? So that in the end, we'll be looking at the owls and his face. Almost like they're a part of him, but they should glow-ish. colors of his eyes, I have the option to go warm, but it's going to dilute the warmth of the everything around him. So I think I'll go blue to keep the cold aspect of the face. Yeah, that's the right thing to do, I think. And now I want to paint these flowers. No, that should be green. That's really cool, but it's a good one. Yeah, my plan is Golden Tigers. This will be my year's Christmas card, and the Christmas card idea is being like, I can't wait for summer. So that's my idea for my Christmas cards. I'm gonna be like, Merry Christmas, please summer come, or something like that. Yeah, exactly, Ben. I want him to like put summer into the grounds of the forest. I will show you my last year's Christmas card I did. My last Christmas card last year was a very silly. Um, I wanted to make like an over-the-top Christmas card. That was my Christmas card last year. Very heavy metal. So I tend to always do a Christmas illustration. So that's my plan. This is obviously like it's the silly one. I didn't like put a lot of effort into it, and I more or less um, used two images. It's the woman, this Olympic athlete, and this motorcycle, and I kind of made this out of it. That's the only two images I used. Uh, so that's my like Christmas card for the year. So you can see like the chest piece and all the things on the legs, etc. It's pieces of the motorcycle, which I skewed and rotated and warped and repainted and changed and all these stuff and added to it. But yeah, so I just did it really quickly and a silly little Christmas card. But I always try to do it every year. So this will be my Christmas card for the year. But I think I'm leaning towards the end of the stream. What the hell is my cat doing today? I think I'm gonna have to end the stream rather soon. Um, so tomorrow I will continue where I will where we left off today. Um, I think I'm gonna end the stream in like in a couple of minutes. I have to go buy some food. I have to go, do grown-up stuff, throw the bins, and all these things, right? Here's another owl. Here's another owl. I need to have their eyes of similar color so that there is that connection. That one can be sleeping. A lot of things will be figured out as I'm pushing and pulling things together. But I'm enjoying the direction. Yes. Thank you very much, Ben. Very kind of you. But all right, I think I'll end it now. I'm out of coffee. I need to go do the little shopping and whatever. So tomorrow morning, 10 past 9 a.m., I'm gonna do my 30-minute stream as per usual, which was I can show it. I can't show it. I can't show it. I need to find it here. I don't want to show client work. So that was my warm-up. Last enemy or last villain, Irish nonsense. That's topic. And then I ended the stream and started this. So tomorrow I will do the same. I will live stream for 2 hours or something after the warm-up. So if you guys want to watch the warm-up, please feel free to join. It's the exact same time every working day. The information is underneath the stream. Otherwise, I'll just stream further one just after I end it and then start it again. If you guys want to join in, please feel free to do so. I will be drinking coffee and talking shit as per usual. And early morning before the stream, I try to work on the outro intro for the show for the next year. But yeah, thanks everyone for coming. It was a fantastic talking to you guys. The Hibiki. Tomorrow is the new chance. Same time tomorrow. Thanks everyone for coming. And the good talks and topics. The UV tiger stripes of humans and all these things, right? Good luck with studying, homework, school, eating cheeseburgers, whatever you're gonna do. Um, Anyways, have a good one, everyone. Bye. Outro. It's coming. It's coming. I promise. Bye.